Hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining me from, you're welcome to my channel. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe, like, share, click the notification button so that when we're on, you will be notified. The video I'm about to share with you, it kind of, it's heartbreaking in a way, but sometimes you don't think some people been through some things that other people go through. Maybe because they saw you think you're very privileged, if you're aristocrat family, they're very wealthy, they have everything, so they were protected and taken care of. Sometimes it's not, it doesn't just work that way. It's like what happened on the lower part, if I could put it that way, what happened at the middle also happened at the top, or what happened, I don't know, whatever way you could put it. Everything happened everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're from a rich family or you're from a middle class family or from whatever the status you're born into or in. It doesn't matter. The fact that it's situation in life happen everywhere, you know. Different things happen to different people. Charles Spencer, who is the younger brother to late Princess Diana, spoke about his physical and sexual abuse in the boarding school. He was sent to boarding school when he was about, I think he said about 8 years old. I think that was so young to leave home at that age. According to, like those days, they think, oh, wow, your child is in a boarding school, they're going to be strong and be able to be disciplined and be able to become this great person in life. But some of them came out with so much scars that they had been hiding. I was shocked. He didn't talk about it until he was 42 years old. So, like myself, I went to boarding school, but I went to boarding school in my teens. I know what was going on in life. So, and if you've had any intimidation at all was with my classmates or those what they call seniors in school. The senior in school, they were ahead of you, so they want you to do things for them, maybe go get their food from the cafe dining, or go get them water, or go buy things from those kind of stuff. They try, or go get them something somewhere, just, or they give you some of this punishment that asks you to kneel down or raise your hand if you did something they think you did something wrong, or they sent you somewhere and you didn't come on time, or you were slow in getting it for them or something, or you came late to the dining area to eat your food, or you didn't finish your food on time. They can ask you to wipe all the tables, some of the tables in the dining room or dining area, depending on where you call it from, where you're watching it from. So you have to do that. Those were some of the things, and that was more of the punishment, you think, from mostly from students, and sometimes you have to have a senior that is looking after you to protect you from all this stuff, so you're not punished. But for him, at the age of between 7 and 8, to be dropped off without nothing, no experience in life, nothing. I mean, that was so young. Oh, wow. It's so hard sometimes when people go through stuff. I want you to listen and watch it for yourself. Let me know what you think. Leave a message and a comment rather. And let me know what you think. Thank you so much. It's heartbreaking for me.
And with our exclusive and deeply personal interview with Charles Spencer, Princess Diana's only brother, the uncle of the future King William, and of course, Queen Elizabeth's godson.
And it's partly why his new memoir, it's called A Very Private School, chronicles what he describes as years of abuse, and it's causing shockwaves ahead of its release.
Spencer sat down at his family's estate for his very first interview about the book with NBC senior investigative and legal correspondent Cynthia McFadden. Cynthia, good morning.
It's great to be here with you. Well, Charles Spencer is the first to say he grew up with enormous privilege, telling me it's important to him that it not seem as if he's looking for sympathy. Rather, he hopes by coming forward with the alarming details of the abuse he says he suffered as a child, he can both promote healing and sound an alarm. We want to warn you, some of what he has to say is deeply upsetting.
A happy memory from childhood.
Charles Spencer still has the little red jacket he wore, standing next to his sister Diana at the local day school they attended together. From the beginning, she was his protector.
My first day there, the headmistress said Diana wouldn't settle in the classroom. And she said, go on, go and check on him. And Diana ran out and came and looked into my classroom to see I was okay. And then she came back and said to the headmistress, he's fine.
But all that would soon change.
Within 4 years, I was 8, being sent off to a brutal place by myself, saying goodbye to Diana, who I grew up with.
His eyes stung with tears. He was headed to Madewell Hall, the all-boys boarding school he says he can't bear to remember, but will never forget.
We were like prisoners. We were prey to very bad people's worst instincts.
He says that the worst of those bad people was the school's headmaster, Mr. Porch.
In my view, a pedophile and a sadist. And he staffed the school himself with either people who were going along with what he was doing or were going to be mute about it.
What was going on, he says, was not just bleak, but often criminal.
This is not a bunch of mid-teen, late-teen kids going through a rough school. This is children being sexually, physically, and emotionally abused on a daily basis.
We sat down with Spencer, a best-selling author and historian at Althorp, home to his ancestors since 1508. It's surrounded by over 10,000 acres of farm and parkland. Inside, priceless paintings by Van Dyck and others. It's also his famous sister's burial place. So much of what you write about, I think, will leave readers speechless. So contrary to everything we think about the privileged life, all the money, the homes, being the godson of the queen, which you are.
I told a friend of mine about this recently, and he said, I just can't believe you weren't protected, as if coming from this incredibly privileged background somehow would be a protection against pedophiles and sadists. But there is no protection against those sorts of people.
Especially when secrecy is paramount.
The most important code of this very flawed regime was never to tell tales.
The secrets the 75 boys, all under 13, kept were dark.
Every week, at least half a dozen would be whipped with a cane. And we all had showers together after sports, and you could see the blood, the split skin.
How could the parents not have asked questions?
I have a theory. So the old money there sort of thought, well, this is going to make my son tougher and more successful. And then people who had made money more recently thought, well, this is what they do, and we want to be part of this set.
He says abuse came from some of the teachers, too.
There was one particularly violent master, and he caught me by myself in a changing room going out to play cricket. And he just grabbed me and threw me over his knee. And cricket boots have spikes on them, metal spikes. And he beat me and beat me.
But what has truly haunted him was being sexually abused at the age he was in this portrait, 11. The predator, he says, a young adult female, a member of the staff charged with taking care of the young boys.
She would come round to my bed when others were asleep and kiss me, you know, French kiss, for ages. And it was so, if I was 17, 18, it would be a different thing, but I was 11. It was so confusing.
He says she was sexually abusing several other boys and having intercourse with at least 2 of them.
I mean, I'm embarrassed to say it was thrilling, especially in an emotional desert. But of course, it was terrible. She pretended she was going to have to leave early to keep us all on tenterhooks, really. And I remember cutting myself as a sort of, I thought if I hurt myself enough, then God will let her stay.
When he was 12, he says, and traveling with his mother in Italy, he secretly acted out the final scene of the sexual abuse from the year before.
I had not had sexual intercourse with the predator, and I took my pocket money and I lost my virginity to a prostitute, and at the age of 12, and I see that as the completion of what she had done to me.
Who's the first person you ever told what had happened to you?
A therapist when I was about 42.
You kept this inside.
Yes. And he said, whisper to me one thing you've never told anyone. And I said, I was sexually abused by a woman when I was a child. That was the nickname I had in my family before I went to Madewell. And that was the boy who had part of him snuffed out during those 5 years at the school. I wanted to reconnect with the carefree, happy little guy I was before I was sent to this place.
Madewell School is taking his charges seriously and told NBC News in a statement they have reached out to the local authorities charged with protecting children. We'll follow their guidance, they say, on what we do from this point. We would encourage anyone with similar experiences to come forward and contact officials or the police.
That is one of the most disturbing and sad stories, and the fact he had to wait till he was 42 to feel comfortable to say anything. So this happened obviously to other kids. Have any of the other kids come forward?
Well, as part of this is not just his story. He interviews over 24 of the young men who were in school with him.
Oh, wow.
And he is the first to say some of them experienced much worse than he did. And he felt he told me that after he talked to them, he was compelled to write this book. So here it is. This is The Galley. It's out in the U.S. this week.
So the school is just investigating? Is that
Well,
what it
I mean,
says?
they've gone to authorities, which, now this is all contained in the period, what he writes about. He was there from 72 to 77. So no allegations about what's going on there now. There are now girls there. They've increased the population, but this is really, and you know, I think he hopes men, particularly young men who have experienced this, that he can help provide some.
Wow. Cynthia.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow. I hope you learned something from that. Since in the UK, we don't have, there's no statutory limitation, so they can go as far as that long to prosecute and to find justice for what has happened to them. And I believe so most of the people that went to that school, those that are still there, are alive. Most of them came from a very rich family, so they have enough money to pursue this and fight for this. It doesn't just sound like Harry. Doesn't it sound like Harry? Sorry about that. Doesn't it just sound like Harry? You know, trying to find justice somewhere, you know, fight it. Harry came out sometime last year to talk about, when he wrote his book, talk about his experience in life and you know, looking for justice in some of the way he felt he was treated. I think he too is not just looking for justice for himself and his friends or the people that went to the same school with him that were also abused, but for those who are there now, or those who came after them that must have also experienced the situation and today world that we're in, that people will be able to listen, which is good. So once again, let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, click the notification button so that when we're on, you'll be notified. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Remember, you're loved always. Jesus loves you. Bye-bye.